4 reasons why you wake up feeling fat. When you wake up in the morning feeling fat, here's a few things that might be happening. This is in order of probability, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Number 1, you're bloated. You're just bloated. Just bloated. Why does bloating happen? Something that you ate, consumed, whatever, went through the digestive process, got down to your gut, which is your lower intestine, your large intestine, or maybe your small intestine, got down to your intestines. The gut is generally the intestines. And it irritated your gut / disrupted the environment in your gut a little bit. And so the gut responded by sort of being irritated, bloating, gut irritation. Bloating might come packaged with gas, cramping, indigestion-y kind of symptoms, but you're bloated. Your stomach is actually protruding. Your lower belly is protruding because you're bloated, because something you ate last night. Bloating happens quickly. You wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, how did I get so fat overnight? I can't believe, oh my God, I overdid it at Susan's house last night. I woke up and I'm fat. No, hell no, no. If you wake up and you feel fat and your clothes don't fit, you don't like the way they look, there's a very high chance you are bloated. So it would be a really good idea to figure out why, to just understand what foods cause that reaction for you. By the way, bloating isn't normal. Bloating isn't normal. If you've heard bloating is normal, it's not. It's a signal from your body that something that you consumed wasn't good. Just kind of irritated, upset the apple cart, if you will. Bloating is very easy to reconcile. It is a clear signal from your body that something that you ate isn't agreeing with you. You also might have been walking around bloated forever, thinking that I have a lower belly pooch, and you just were bloated because something that you eat regularly talk about easy solutions, simple solutions, not easy, simple. Just making a change in your diet, seeing if you can reduce bloating, you will feel immediately better in your clothes. Okay. That's number 1. You wake up in the morning feeling fat, and you might just be bloated. Number 2, you might be retaining water. So this is a puffy feeling, like puffy, like my fingers feel sausagey, and my sports bra feels tight or whatever. Water retention is also a signal of an immune response. The body is kind of this inflammatory response that happens when we've irritated our gut or brought something into the body that the body disagrees with. It triggers an immune response. It's an immunogenic response, an immune system activity, basically. Water retention is part of it, right? So think about it. When you roll your ankle, what happens? It puffs up. It gets swollen, full of fluid. This is part of the healing process. This is the part of the acute inflammatory response. When we're retaining water, feeling puffy, feeling squishy, feeling like our pants are tight and our rings are tight and again, our bras are tight, jacket's too tight. It's like, everything just feels tight. Like that's a bad feeling uncomfortable in your body, that puffy feeling. Water retention. Potentially just relating again to the quality of food you're eating and whether it's triggering an immune response. Man, one of the things that I solve for my clients quickly, like I'm in the business of slow, deliberate fat loss, but I give people quick wins by reducing bloating and reducing water retention. And they're like, oh my God, my clothes fit better. Oh my God, I put on this jacket that I haven't been able to wear in 6 months. Oh my God, my rings are falling off. My Apple Watch is too loose. They're thinking they're having these amazing fast weight loss results. And it's like, no, we just dialed down the bloating and the water retention by tapping the brakes on the immunogenic foods you're eating every day. If you don't like that feeling of being puffy, then again, this goes to what are you eating and how is your body responding to it? And I have an elimination protocol that I teach people that I know when you hear the word elimination diet, you're like, oh no, I have to eliminate things. Oh no, I have to change what I'm eating. This sounds so restrictive, but it's like, yeah, you have to change what you're eating if you want to feel better. If you want to feel better in your body, yeah, you're going to have to change something. I mean, if you don't want to change what you're eating, that's fine. That's completely fine. I respect that. But then nothing else will change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. You know what I mean? So number 2, you wake up feeling fat, you're retaining water. This is also an immune response, an inflammatory immune response. Why is the body inflamed? You should find out. Number 3, you wake up in the morning feeling fat, Your mind is playing tricks on you. If you didn't feel fat yesterday and you feel fat today, you did not get fatter. You don't gain fat overnight. You don't get fat overnight. You can get bloated overnight. You can retain water overnight, but you don't gain fat overnight. That's a long ass biological process. It takes ages. It takes ages to gain fat. It takes ages to lose fat. Sorry, but it certainly doesn't happen overnight. If you wake up one day feeling grosser than you felt 24 hours before, it could be completely in your mind. And this isn't to say you're crazy. You're not, because we've all felt it, trust me. But women, we have a completely unique, if you will, cocktail of hormones coursing through our bodies every day of our cycle. Day 1 is different than day 2, is day different than day 3, is different than day 4. Every single day we are different. PMS, you've heard of PMS, premenstrual syndrome. Anytime you hear the word syndrome, that means this isn't a disease, it's a collection of symptoms that we're just going to put together and slap the label syndrome on, like metabolic syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, premenstrual syndrome, just a cluster of symptoms. What does premenstrual syndrome consist of? Well, things like irritableness, moodiness, emotions, cravings, sore breasts, fatigue, whatever. Now we're kind of finally sort of going into this syndrome and pulling out some different components and saying, well, this might be pertinent to this, and this might be something by itself a little bit different. And like, maybe we can break these down into component parts and deal with them a little bit and be more intentional rather than just giving them a syndrome label and saying, sorry about your luck, ladies. Good luck dealing with that for the next 40 years. So one of the component parts, if you will, of PMS that's been pulled out is called PMDD. PMDD, premenstrual dysmorphia disorder. You're looking at yourself and it's not the way you expect it to look. Body dysmorphia, right? There's an element of body dysmorphia baked into our menstrual cycles. Yay, as if it couldn't get any worse. The hits keep on coming. Premenstrual dysmorphia disorder is like, for whatever reason, the balance of this hormone and that hormone has you looking in the mirror feeling like you're a disgusting hag. Who knows? Some days we feel very hot. You ever have a day where you feel hot? That's probably a time when you're very fertile. So you're feeling hot, you're feeling fertile, you put yourself out there, because the whole, one of the whole imperatives of a species is biological imperative is reproduction, right? So you go through periods of time where you feel hot. That's probably your fertile time. Then the pendulum swings and now I don't feel hot anymore and I feel disgusting. Well, that's PMDD. And it's interesting, like it's not like our hormones make us feel ugly, but we're on the downswing of feeling hot or whatever. We're feeling good about ourselves. So the dysmorphia is, I was feeling good about myself during this fertile time and now I don't feel good about myself. You literally didn't wake up in the morning fatter, uglier, grosser than you were yesterday. It's just not true. So the fourth reason why you might wake up feeling fat one day, maybe you're carrying extra body fat and you don't like it. Like fourth on the list is you might be holding on to some stubborn body fat. And this is also kind of this is a biological thing, but also a mental and emotional thing. It's like, ugh, everything I've been doing isn't working. Like, you're grabbing, you're pinching. It's annoying. It was there yesterday. The fat was there yesterday. It was there the day before. It did not show up overnight, as I've clearly articulated in this riff. Fat does not show up overnight, but you're just annoyed by it because it's been hanging around for too long, and everything that you've tried to that usually works doesn't work. And this is for my middle-aged perimenopausal women also who think this is some kind of consequence of hitting your 40s. It's not. It's just stuck, stubborn body fat because you've been metabolically misfiring for a while, sending impertinent metabolic signals, and your body just sort of circled the wagon, is hanging onto that fat for dear life. And no matter how virtuous of a dieter you are, no matter what an intense, good little exerciser you are, it's not going anywhere. It won't. So for that, you'll need to make some metabolic changes. You need to change your metabolic, you have to improve the function of your metabolic machinery to get that stubborn fat moving. It's not going to respond to diet and exercise. It's definitely not going to respond to you stressing the hell out about it every day. Like, that's just going to make it stick harder, quite frankly. So reasons you feel fat suddenly: number one, you're bloated. Number two, you're retaining water. Number three, your mind is playing tricks on you. And maybe number four, you've been carrying around some stubborn body fat and you're just annoyed. It's just like, you're just over it. And by the way, this is all good news. It's all good news because bloating, water retention, and metabolic dysfunction, all very fixable, very, very fixable. Premenstrual dysmorphia disorder, probably not fixable, but it's very good exercise in managing your expectations. Why do I feel gross today? Because I felt really hot 3 days ago during my fertile window, and I'm just on the downward slope of that. You're not uglier, you're not fatter, you're not grosser than you were yesterday. Closing remarks are, it's hard for me to talk like this in this language. It's hard for me to talk like this. You feel gross, you feel fat, you feel disgusting. The last thing I need is to hear those words in your head some more. The last thing I need is for you to hear or feel or think those words in your head. This is the language you are using to describe yourself when you look in the mirror. Oh, I'm disgusting. Oh, God. I always self-sabotage. I always let myself down. Ugh. I hate using this language with you. I don't think it helps anything, but it's the language that you probably use. And I just wanted to give you something back. Like, if this is what you're feeling and saying to yourself, here's the deal. There's 4 things at play here, and I think they're all workable. This is not some kind of shitty destiny. Okay. That's the good news. That's the pep talk. Let me know what you think. Let's talk it out. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.